Now, I just want to read this text. Dahlia Shocknessig says, well done, the girls in green. Backs to the wall, bravery to earn the point. My daughter was going crazy with nerves watching it. Emma Byrne, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I think a lot of people had, particularly when there's just these flashbacks to countless times in Irish sport where there's a free kick right in front of our goals. The clock is in the red. It's 94 and a half minutes. It was only supposed to be 4 minutes. But this time, the goal didn't happen and we get away with the 1-1. And it's like a big, big moment for this team.
Massive. It was a huge game, probably the most important game in Irish footballing history, women's anyway. Yeah, but I was the same. I was watching it with Olivia O'Toole, and we were just like, I have a really bad feeling about this, and we couldn't watch literally the last 10 seconds. But it was totally deserved. I mean, it was a fantastic result, absolutely brilliant. That with the result, Finland, Slovakia drawing, it's looking really, really good for the girls.
You know the quality of this Swedish team really well. They play, I think, the vast majority of them play in the Champions League. What's the difference? Like, how far behind are we technically at this stage? And maybe just put some context around how good a performance it was from us from a team perspective to be able to match them last night.
Yeah, no, it was an unbelievable performance from our girls. But Sweden as a team, I mean, they're ranked number 2 in the world. They got runners up in the Olympics twice. They won the Algarve Cup 3 times. They're up there with the best teams. But in regards to the difference between us and them, there isn't much, to be honest. They're very, very direct, very fit, very physical. And they keep the ball very well. The midfield keep the ball very well. And I think that might be a little bit of the difference there, because when we won the ball back, we were struggling to keep it. And we were so, in defensive mode. We were so deep that it was very difficult for us to keep the ball. And that was the main difference, because when we did manage to do it a few times, we were very threatening and Sweden were very worried. So if we could do that a little bit more, it would be a much, much even game.
How do we do that? Is that a philosophy shift? Is it a slight personnel tweak? Is it actually something that Vera Pauw wants to do? What do we need?
No, she definitely will want to do it. I mean, it's going to be easier for the girls, and it's really difficult to play the way they played last night for 93 minutes. And the girls will be absolutely exhausted today. They really put in a shift. But what we will need to do is just grow in confidence, which last night would have definitely helped, and encourage our midfielders to get on the ball and not panic. But you need a lot of players that are good on the ball, that are comfortable on the ball, and that want to be on the ball. And that's kind of a building process. And at the moment, it's just about getting results. And then when we get into the finals, hopefully that will have been worked on, and it's the only way that we can compete at that level.
Well, pre-match, Vera Pauw was at pains to point out the difference in the number of games that the Swedes had had together, 55 over the last 2 years versus 20 for her since she's taken charge, and that there's a disparity there. That, like, it's clear that playing games vastly increases the speed at which a team improves. So I know she was talking about that was a message to UEFA. It felt like it was also a bit of a message to the FAI, get me more games.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I was speaking to Vera Pauw a while ago, and she was saying it is difficult because they don't have many days together and they're constantly preparing for games. So to actually have even 2 days to be able to work on your ethos and your methods and your style is really difficult. And yeah, it probably will take some funding and some time to get all the girls together and try and get those training camps or wherever it is. And that is very difficult. And yes, Sweden have played together for a long, long time. And I think their average age will be 27, 28. So, they're all around the same age, the same generation. They've played underage together. And that team has been together for a very long time. And ours haven't. And a few of them have, but the bulk of the team haven't. So, yeah, it's about getting in the group that you want to work with and keeping that group and trying to keep them fit. And that's a quite a heavy task as well.
And just improving the strength and depth is the other aspect of that as well. However that has to happen.
Yeah, whether it's you recruit from abroad with the Irish grannies or you try to bring up the younger ones, and we have a very young team at the moment anyway. But we also have a few injuries as well, which is going to be a big difference for the next couple of games, especially in defence. We had Megan Connolly playing back there as a centre back. I'm sure she was as surprised as I was when she was told. But you have Diane Caldwell injured, Megan Campbell, who is a massive, massive advantage for any team with that throw-in. I mean, it's probably one of the reasons Liverpool got promoted at this stage so early on in the season. And yeah, so we need to add more players to that squad, and it's only going to get better. And with the likes of Katie McCabe and Denise O'Sullivan in midfield, that keeping the ball aspect in midfield is very realistic, and you just need to try and get maybe 2 more players in there that are comfortable on the ball, and that will really work for Ireland. Yeah.
What about the goalkeeping position? This is something that we've kind of struggled with for a while, since you left basically, and it looks, I'm still not sure if Vera Pauw knows exactly what she wants. She kind of said it was a brave decision to go with Courtney Brosnan last night, but actually it wasn't that brave, because Courtney Brosnan played really well.
No, but as a selection point of view, it was really brave, because Courtney Brosnan hasn't played games for Everton. She's really rusty in relation to games, which is so important for a goalkeeper. And when I seen the team sheet, I was surprised again. I was like, she's really sticking with Courtney Brosnan, and I don't see her in training, so I don't know what she's like, but I just think it's a bit of a worry if a goalkeeper specifically hasn't played many games. But she was the player of the match for me. She was absolutely fantastic. She looked really sharp. So I was eating my words completely. And she was just fantastic. And particularly that save towards the end, around the 70th minute, down to her left, was just unbelievable save. And you could just tell that she wasn't going to concede an easy goal. And it was an unfortunate thing that she actually conceded it all, because actually, I woke up this morning feeling a little bit robbed and feeling a bit disappointed that Ireland didn't get the whole 3 points. But, 1-1 is a fantastic result as well.
Tammy, if you were advising her and pointing out that there is a chance to be part of a team that goes to a World Cup, would you be saying, look for a move, try and find somewhere where you can be first choice? Or is it actually more important to knuckle down at Everton and try and, I don't know what the difference between her and the current Everton goalkeeper is, or if there's any chance for actually supplanting her, and if maybe playing international games is going to help. So what would your advice be?
Well, I'd advise her to have a chat with the manager. There is a new manager gone in there. They're fairly low on the table. They're fighting relegation. I mean, it looks like Birmingham are going to get relegated, but Everton are down there. So I'd be certainly telling her to knock on the door. Something's not working there. And also with her performance last night, as soon as she goes back into the club, she needs to have that conversation, because she needs to play. And I'd be telling her, you need to play, and you need to speak to the manager, and you need to be fairly sure and confident that you're going to be a starting goalkeeper. And if you have any doubt at all, you need to move. Her contract is up this year, the end of June. So I'd be surprised if she stayed there, to be honest, considering the amount of games, or the lack of games she's got, because as a goalkeeper, it's really difficult to sit on the bench, especially if your team are losing. And, maybe the goalkeeper is not having the best of times. So hopefully last night will give her that confidence, because it might take that for her to be able to go in and have that conversation.
Yeah, she's gone in from a position of strength. I've just gone up against literally the second best team in the world, and more than held my own, ended up player of the match. Come on, give me a go here.
Yeah, exactly. She was playing the cup games and they got knocked out fairly early. And a lot of managers like to do that. They like to give the league to one keeper and the cup to the other, and they stick with it. And but it's not working for them. So she's a really good fighting chance of going in there and getting her position. But she needs that conversation. If she's already had it, maybe she's already had it. And maybe she's already looking for a new club. And
will there be much clamour for her? It looks like she's good enough to play at that level in the top division in England.
Yeah, and it's difficult. There are a lot of really good goalkeepers in the WSL now, and there aren't many teams. So, I mean, she's definitely good enough. Looking at how she was last night, she's good enough. And managers will be watching that. So I definitely think there'll be a couple of teams, you know, definitely willing to sign her. But she has to find the right place as well, the right coach. That's for me is a huge thing, the goalkeeping coach and how the team works. So maybe a team that's Liverpool have a very good keeper as well, but another team that's getting promoted might be a good option for her. But yeah, she definitely should stay in the Women's Super League, 100%.
One of the things that we're a little bit concerned about is that Sweden are now actually qualified. They're going to win the group, and so they're home and hosed, and so there is some fear that maybe they might not try a leg against Finland in the last game. I know Vera Pauw was certainly concerned about a Scandinavian friendship axis of whatever when the fixtures were being made. Is this a real worry, or would we expect Sweden to still be able to at least get a draw against Finland almost no matter who they put out?
I mean, it's always a concern. Like, they definitely won't have that edge, you know, that they had last night, for example, because they were worried about not qualifying last night. But I don't think so. I don't think we need to worry about it. The Swedes, they like to win. They like to show off. They like to prove how good they are to everyone. So the Finland game won't be any different. They're going to want to you know, put on a show. And I don't know if you've seen their advert, have you?
Yeah, the jersey. Yeah.
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 I think that kind of shows their temperament, and, you know, you won't be able to beat us no matter what. And it's been true to this, you know, they haven't been beaten. They've only been scored on against twice, and that's from Ireland last night and from Finland. So, you know, they're a really difficult team to beat, and they're going to want to prove, you know, last night was a bit of a dent for them, so they'll come out of the box, you know, charging for sure.
I don't know if you saw the Ireland ad. So Sky have an Ireland ad. It's all around the Outbelieve, and they showed the team the ad, and the team apparently were like, oh, this is class, you know, and emotional around it. In your opinion, do you think the team also saw the Sweden ad and were also maybe similarly inspired in the opposite direction, going, what is this? What did the Swedes tell us about their jersey?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a small world. Somebody would have mentioned it to them. They would have had a look. And Dave from FM Today told me last night, I hadn't seen it, and I watched it last night, and I was livid. I was like, oh my God, I'm furious. Like, this would really annoy me. Probably to a disadvantage if I was playing, to be quite honest. But yeah, the girls would have seen that, and that would have, you know, really wound them up. You could see that the girls had fire in their belly last night, and I wouldn't be surprised if that added to it, along with our Sky advert as well, which is really inspirational.
One thing that's not so inspirational is Kenny Shields' comments. I don't know if you've seen or heard this yet, but we can actually play it for anybody who hasn't seen them. So this is Kenny Shields, the Northern Ireland manager, beaten 5-0 last night by England, and here he is explaining why they conceded goals so quickly.
I thought they were struggling a wee bit at times to open us up until the psychology of going 2 up. In the women's game, you'll have noticed, I'm sure you will, if you go through the patterns, when a team concedes a goal, they concede a second one within a very short period of time. Right through the whole spectrum of the women's game, because girls and women are more emotional than men, so they take a goal going in, they don't take that very well. So if you go through the stats, which journalists love to do, going through stats, and you'll see teams conceding goals in 18 and 21 minutes, and then in 64 and 68 minutes. They group them because that's an emotional goal. So we conceded in 48. We should with 3 and 7 minutes, was it, or 3 and 9 on Friday, and we were conscious of that. When we went 1-0 down, we killed the game. Tried to just slow it right down, because to give them time to get that emotional imbalance out of their head, and that's an issue we have, not just Northern Ireland but all the countries have that problem. That's
Kenny Shields there. Emma, what do you make of that?
I think it's ridiculous, really, to say that we concede consecutive goals because we're emotional on the pitch. I think that's a load of crap, to be quite honest. I'm speaking personally. If we conceded a goal, actually, I was more determined to get it right and to get possession back, and I wasn't emotional about the goal, so to speak. Yeah, I was emotional, but about getting myself back in the game or getting our team back in the game. And I think I don't agree with them. Basically, I don't agree with them. And it's like in football in general, after you concede a goal, the next few minutes are very important, whether you're a man, woman, dog, whatever. It's really important because the other team are elated, they're confident, they feel stronger, and you have to try and get the balance back from that. But it's not about being emotional. It's about the flow of the game and the balance of the game.
It's idiotic stuff, really. It's like complete misunderstanding of cause and effect at a basic level. But I do wonder what his team are thinking. They're preparing to go to the Euros, and the next time they go training, they're all looking at the manager going, well, you just think that I'm going to get emotional whenever anything happens on the field here, so you don't actually trust me to be a footballer.
Yeah, no, I mean, that comment is, it would get you the sack, really. And I'd be surprised if he is the manager for the next game, to be honest, because you can't discriminate like that. And it's the one thing we don't need in women's football when it's on a momentum of, trajectory is crazy. And for him to say that is just ridiculous. But the point is, he's thought about it a lot. It wasn't, a throwaway comment. He's obviously thought about it. He's studied it. And because he has seen that maybe there's a lot of games that teams have conceded 2 goals in the short space of time, he's decided to put it down to a fact of it must be emotions for women. It must be. What else can it be? It was just absolutely ridiculous. It's just so silly. And I know a couple of those girls, and I know they won't be happy with that. So I'll be interested to see how that carries on. But I hope he doesn't speak like that. I mean, more concerning for me that the tone of his voice, I was like, yeah, if he was in the dressing room talking like that, I'd be like, I'd need a little bit of an extra warm up to get me going again.
Emma, always great to have you on. Thanks a million for joining us. Cheers.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Thanks. Bye.
Emma Byrne with 134 caps for the Republic of Ireland during her career as a goalkeeper with Arsenal, and of course Champions League winner in her time as well. 12 minutes past 9 here on OTB AM.